All right, so we are recording. I'm going to switch it to speaker view. Oh, no, that's still not me. Oh, that's you. Okay, so you're just going to want to mute yourself. That way there's no feedback. Cool. And then I think, mute spotlight. Here we go. Okay, I'm learning. It's a thing. Okay, so I'm going to just get started and want to be respectful of everybody's time on here. So let's do this thing. So you guys both know me, but I'll say happy Naturopathic Medicine Week anyways for anybody that watches this recording. We have a very special guest on with us tonight. Her name is Genevieve. She's a recent CCNM grad and naturopathic doctor, and she's in the process of finishing up getting ready for her last board exam, so it's very exciting. Lots on the horizon for her. And funny enough, she was actually my intern at CCNM when I was a student there for my first year. And we like to make the joke that she may or may not have gotten me pregnant. She was doing some hormone balancing with me, and I guess it worked. So I now am a mama to one. She is about to be 10 months old, which is just mind-boggling. Her name is Lily, and I am now based in the Midwest in the USA, and I know some of you guys might be tuning in from Canada. So today we're going to get chatting. I wanted to kind of, because it's Naturopathic Medicine Week and you know, everybody's kind of home, we're trying to keep busy. I wanted to just create an event where we talk about impact. So a lot of times at Arbonne, the company I work for, which I'll tell you guys a little bit about, we always talk about preparing for impact, and that can be both positive or negative impact. And I think right now we're feeling a little bit of intense negative impact. And it's like, how do you prepare for something like that? So I want to talk a little bit about that. Genevieve is going to touch towards the end on kind of post-grad life, the power of collaboration and how to elevate your impact, especially with companies and others that share your similar values and mission, and then how this could benefit you guys as far as business training opportunities through personal development and social marketing training. So just as an FYI, I am a district manager in qualification with Arbonne, and I'm super happy and excited to be here with you guys today. And I'm sitting here and speaking with you guys because someone sat there in one point in time in this seat and spoke with me and shared the opportunity with me. And I'm realizing how blessed I am and how privileged I am to share this with you guys. So just a little bit about where I was. I told you just a little gist of it, but I was introduced to Arbonne while I was in naturopathic school by somebody in my class. Now, she was already working her business while she was a med student, and she was utilizing that like financial opportunity to kind of help her through med school, and also give her kind of an outlet to work on and prepare. But at the time, I was not ready to start my business, and that's totally fine. Everybody gets almost introduced to it at different points in time, and you never know when it's going to be your time to say yes. So sometimes we have to be patient for the best yeses. But now I am full-fledged into my business just a few months, and I'm already in qualification for the first level of management, which is super exciting. But really, this business met me at a point of impact. So I was in medical school. I had all my eggs in one basket, so to speak. And you guys know how it is. You're like blinders on and you're super focused, which is very necessary during that time in your lives. But preparing for impact is important. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So you guys all know the principles of naturopathic medicine, and I wanted to kind of be crafty here and share how Arbonne, the company I work for, which I'll talk about, shares very much so the principles of naturopathic medicine, which is something I really love because it aligns with me 100%. So what is Arbonne? Arbonne is a beauty, health, and wellness business with 40 years of history, which I think is pretty darn cool. It is a social marketing business. So those usually don't, if they're not a pretty solid business, they usually don't make it past the first 10 years. So for 40 years of history, that's really awesome. And our mission is to focus on a holistic approach to well-being, mind, body, and skin. So I think you guys might have something in common there. So I'm really excited to talk about that today. What sets us apart is that we are constantly elevating and using plant-based ingredients grounded in science and research, with a very, very high ethical safety and standards. So just for a little bit of number comparison, in the US, we ban around 30 known harmful and toxic ingredients. I know you guys are in Canada, lucky you guys. I think it might be a little bit better there than here. In Europe, they ban around 13 to 1400 known toxic and harmful ingredients. And in Arbonne, we like to ban over 2000. So we are very, very strict when it comes to knowing what we put in our bodies and on our bodies. And as you guys know, skin is our largest organ. So that's a super important thing that I think a lot of times is missed when talking about products. So we have a mission to help people and the planet flourish. We actually recently became a B Corporation, which is really cool because it means we are aligned people and planet with profit. So we want to make sure those things are in balance, unlike just a strictly profit based business, so to speak. So I want to talk. There's obviously the products I can talk about. We have 450 consumable products, but today I really want to focus on impact and integration, especially with regards to you guys in the naturopathic world. So the first principle, right, is do no harm. So perfect example of how Arbonne is a do no harm type of organization is the fact that we are a B Corp, and we also are so many different certifications such as vegan, gluten-free. We recently became halal, and we're fall into a bunch of other really cool categories. So to have that principle at the very forefront and how we formulate our products, I think is really, really amazing. For any of you guys that have learned about this, you may or may not have, with regards to skincare and why being vegan is important. I honestly really didn't understand it at the beginning, but I was pretty surprised to find out that a lot of fillers in different makeup products and lotion products actually comes from the rendering of animals. And it's that fatty layer from when animals are boiled is a really easy and cheap filler that a lot of makeup companies tend to want to use. And so we don't allow any of that, and that is why we are vegan. So that was a really cool thing to learn about. Now, the next principle of naturopathic medicine is the healing power of nature, right? So we love to give people the tools for their body to do the healing themselves and to reach that point of optimal functioning. We love to do the same very thing at Arbonne. So we have a bunch of different products like I was speaking to. Some of our best sellers are our 30 Days to Healthy Living, which is a very, very balanced nutrition program that we use with different clients. I right now am treating, or I wouldn't say treating, but I have a client who has rheumatoid arthritis and a client with type 1 diabetes who have seen really, really great results in terms of decreased inflammation and pain that typically comes from inflammation, as well as more stabilized blood sugar levels. And so that's a really big focus we have in our nutrition program. And as well as we have very intense and amazing skincare line of 7 different types of skincare. So when it talks about the healing power of nature and the body, giving your body the optimal opportunity to heal is also something we really value. Identify and treat the cause. When I was thinking about this one, I really thought about how we eliminated over 2,000 known toxic ingredients. Sometimes it's such an easy thing to miss. I know in like the infertility world, that's a really big thing. I was really interested while I was in school in environmental clinical medicine and pollutants effects on us. And we just forget about those things because sometimes it's things we can't see or touch, so to speak. And so to know that our company policy is to be so stringent with those things was such a breath of fresh air for me, because I was the type of person, like, I would get a product and I'm like reading every ingredient. And if I don't know what it is, I'm looking it up. And that can become its own issue, right? Like mentally, it can become really anxiety inducing. And I know my husband and I, when we first had my daughter, we're just like standing in the grocery store and you're just kind of paralyzed because you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to pick. And there's so many options for one singular product sometimes. So to know that I can shop from my store, and I trust where it's coming from is a huge thing. And I know Genevieve and I are going to talk a little about the power of trust when you're building these different relationships with businesses as you go forward. The fourth principle of doctor as teacher, I think this is a really cool one, because the power to be able to speak to what you're doing and teach it back to others is such a powerful tool you guys are going to have to use as doctors. And so I'm super grateful that I have opportunities like this to practice speaking with you guys on educating through products and through what you're using. And we're getting this opportunity to collaborate. And so I think that's a really interesting way we're able to do the whole doctor as teacher. And the last two is treat the whole person. Our main philosophy is mind, body, and skin. So we're 100% aligned with you guys on that, and that makes me extremely happy. And so we prevent, and we love to say, we love to be healthy from the inside out. And I think a lot of times that approach is not maybe the first approach in, let's say, Western medicine. It tends to feel like a more band-aided approach. And the fact that that inside out mentality is so important to the Arbonne family makes me so glad to be working with them right now. So we talked a little bit about the principles in naturopathic medicine. I wanted to maybe have Genevieve pop in here now that this is all fresh in her mind, and maybe speak on kind of a little bit of where you're at in life right now, your thoughts when it comes to collaboration and thinking about preparing for starting your business and how to really elevate your impact, as well as your business going forward. So take it away.
I just unmute myself there. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Britt. Like Britt said, I was her intern in my fourth year, and her first year, which is a very challenging year in the program. So I had the pleasure of working with Britt, and I graduated May of last year, or August of last year, my clinical. And since then, it's been on and off studying for my boards. I moved back home from Toronto, busy hustle bustle, and then COVID happened and it sort of slowed things right down. Britt contacted me and let me know about what she was doing, and we kind of got caught up, just discussing how important it is to be open-minded when starting your business. So, I'm not able to start my business right now because of everything that's going on. And, being a recent graduate, you guys know, the financial strain that comes along with that. And being able to have some flexibility in your income and bringing in money is truly a gift during this time. And Brittany thought, she would like to share this gift that was brought to her, share it with me. And so I was able to do some research on Arbonne and pleasantly surprised by how closely aligned the beliefs and morals of the company align with what I had been studying and practicing for the last 4 years. So, there's so many different companies that approach you out of graduation, different product lines, companies, online programs, that will come approach you and want you to vouch for them in your practice when you open. And it can be a little bit overwhelming. So I think it's important to do your research and find something that you trust and try the products yourself. So I've been trying a few of the products from Arbonne now, like the Mind Health and the Energy Fizz Sticks, just for my own cognitive benefit and energy levels. And I've been really enjoying the products. I feel like it's important to understand how it affects your own body, and just especially even taste, how things taste before promoting them to your patients. I think it's the best way to do it. Yeah, and constructing my business plan right now in the time that I have off, I'm really considering what products I want to hand select for the dispensary that I'm going to have when I do open up my own clinic. And yeah, it's just very important to have a company that you trust and have some experience with those products. And if you can make, some money in the interim, that's an added bonus that Arbonne offers. I'm trying to think about what else you asked me there.
Good.
Just
I'm
making.
trying to figure out how to unmute myself.
Uh,
So that's great. That's awesome. And I think, like you said, like you mentioned, people are, especially right now, looking for those flexible working options. They're looking for, and even just right now in the immediate interim, right? Because this is just something none of us expected. And like you said, you were preparing for getting out of graduation, getting your practice started. I know I've spoken to a few different recent grads who have started their business, and now they're kind of stuck in this new dynamic time where it's like, I thought I was going to be doing face-to-face contact hours, and now they're having to shift into telemed. And so like the power of that adaptability is so key. And we actually have a naturopathic doctor who sits on our scientific advisory board with Arbonne, which I was so excited to find out about, because not only did like their general mission align with what I love, but to know somebody's like having an impact with how they structure programs, what ingredients they're using, and why they're using them is like so heartwarming to me, because I think we feel like sometimes we're like the underdogs in the med world right now, especially in the US. We've got a pretty strong, you know,
yeah,
classic old men. No, I'm kidding. But so to have that be a part of this company now, you guys, these industries that we're working within, it's a $4.2 trillion industry. Like health is seriously your greatest wealth. And I know a lot of you guys have seen that saying around, but especially right now, like, and I'm not going to speak to anything with the current pandemic, but knowing that we're generally healthy people, we have that information, we have access to these things, is such like a breath of fresh air. And I feel really calm in that way, knowing that we have that. So yeah, having that flexibility, having that opportunity, especially for you guys who are still in school, to learn marketing skills, business information, because I think that's an area where a lot of times we end up having to kind of pick up the slack at the end. And I can vouch for the business side of Arbonne, and Genevieve can vouch for the product side as far as her own research goes. But we constantly tell people like, this is, I don't want to say a business in a box, but you're getting to learn hands-on business tools, marketing tools, these interpersonal skills, and practice them prior to starting your own maybe brick and mortar. A lot of things right now are what we say click and order. People need that convenience, especially now we're stuck at home, right? It's a different type of time. So to get that training under your belt while also potentially making some money from it is a really cool opportunity that I would highly recommend considering. And if you have any questions about like earning opportunities, we have 4 different levels of management. You can go to earnings.arbonne.com to read up on all the details there. So to wrap up, I wanted to kind of ask you as well. Let's see, you talked about like the the values and the missions you were speaking on, and collaboration with regards to like maybe businesses that approach you, right? But what about in regards to integrative medicine? So working with others in the medicine field, such as, you know, let's say nutritionists or dietitians and different people, like creating a network in that way as practitioners, because although we are trained in so many different things, it's a lot of hats to wear, and a lot of times we kind of end up falling into maybe a specialty of sorts. So maybe touching on that a little bit, and then I'll wrap up here unless anybody has any questions.
Absolutely. Just like you said, um, you've probably heard this throughout your journey in naturopathic school. It's like we're the jack of all trades, masters of none. And so when you come out with all these skills, you kind of feel like, okay, well, what is it that I'm really passionate about, or what is it that I'm good at, and which tools am I going to use in my box to help the most amount of people? And it can be really, really overwhelming. So I think it's important to create this network of other health practitioners, such as, nutritionists, osteopaths, chiropractors, physiotherapists, you name it, anybody who aligns with your overall goal of helping the most amount of people. And you can't be the best at everything. And so being able to refer patients to other people that you trust, and just having those connections at the tip of your fingers, will make your practice run so much smoother. I've already had a lot of people come to me and say, do you deal with this disorder, or do you deal with this condition? And my focus, being pediatrics and stress management, sort of my strengths. And so especially at the beginning, when you're really trying to focus on your strengths, and the other stuff will come, you really need to be able to have that network around. And you're seeing it more and more. I really feel like this is the way that health is going to be structured. These big health centers, whether it's online or clinics in person, they're going to be a network of people. So really, really important to collaborate, keep an open mind, listen to different perspectives, get different opinions, because ultimately it will make your practice strong. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I have to say about that.
Good, good. And is there anything else, any tips you'd like to share with, I see a few of us on here, and I think most of you guys are in my year that I was in. So any tips from an elder, I guess?
I'm still feel like a baby in the profession, but really go with what you're passionate about, I would say. And try not to focus so much on what everybody else is doing in your profession. There's plenty of room for everybody, and you'll do the best and succeed in, I think, what your biggest strengths are, and the people you connect yourself with. Patients really want to see authenticity, and they want to be able to trust you. So I think being true to yourself first, and creating a good space for yourself is key to being a good practitioner. But the chips fall in place, so don't
Yeah.
stress.
Yes, those are awesome tips. Awesome tips. If anybody has any questions before I wrap up, please drop them in the chat. But so I wanted to just touch on with regards to business, right? So a lot of you guys are in that medical mindset right now, which is great. And we were talking a little bit about preparing for business impact. And so a lot of times we don't get a training wheel opportunity with starting a business. It's a big investment. Not only just going to med school is not only a huge investment, but starting a brick and mortar business, it can be a very huge investment as well. And preparing for that impact is, I think, a super important thing. And where I'm finding my chip is falling in the layout of this puzzle. I feel like there's a reason I was meant to meet all of you guys, even just for a short period of time. I feel like I'm constantly trying to educate and bridge the gap between the Eastern and Western worlds, because I do have several friends that are in medical school here in the US. And preparing that for that impact is so important, which is why I'm authentically coming on here and wanting to share with you guys how beneficial I think, considering as you're in these early stages of school, the Arbonne opportunity is for some of that business training. I feel like it is really showing me where my strengths and weaknesses are, how I can be better at planning things, scheduling things, creating contacts and follow up, because these are all going to be key tips to growing a really successful business when you're done, and or at least knowing the knowledge if you're to pass that job on to somebody else. But a lot of times when you first start your business, you're wearing all of the hats. And I'm so grateful that I'm getting to learn these things, whether or not I go back to school or whether I just do like kind of business advisory things. I want you guys to know that I'm here for you, and I want to supply you with any tools I find, just like you guys are educating and sharing all the tools you guys are coming across as you're going through school. So I wanted to touch lastly on a little bit of sometimes common fears and hesitations, because I know exactly where you're at with regards to school, and you're like, I don't have enough time to do something like this. And I said the same thing. But eventually you're going to have to make time, and it's whether or not you do it little step by little here now in the beginning before you're in board time and graduated, or whether you kind of try to figure it out on the fly. So that's one of the biggest things I would say, is make little chunks of time now, put it into your schedule for learning these business tools. And I think this could be a really great outlet for that. And it is only, like, as far as money goes, it is only $49 to start your business. You get a website, all the products and inventory and everything is taken care of. You just handle these face-to-face contacts. So I think it could be really great training for you guys. And I think another common fear and hesitation is, what are people going to think of me? For some reason, social marketing, network marketing has this kind of bad rap, whether or not you want to call it like a pyramid scheme. Different people have different things that they put out there. But to be honest, you guys, this is what we do, especially as women. We love to share things that we love. And as naturopaths, you're going to be sharing what you love with others, especially to get their health to the place that they want it to be. So at the end of the day, we like to say people's opinions aren't going to pay your bills. And you got to just be authentically and unapologetically who you are as you're sharing your journey. And I've seen a lot of you guys that are on here I'm so proud of you guys, because you're sharing different aspects of naturopathic medicine in your own unique ways on social media while you have this time. And I think that's so smart, because you're getting that practice. So don't have any fear if there's any pull on your heartstrings to learn more. I'm a super open book. I'm pretty black and white. I'm from New York, so I can be a little blunt too, but I will tell you it how it is, and keep it really real. So that is what I wanted to share today. I don't think I see any questions in the chat. I'm really, really grateful, Genevieve, for your time, because I know you're studying for boards right now. So
Anytime.
yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask me, shoot me a message on Instagram or personally, and I will share this recording with you guys if there's anybody you think could benefit from learning about this as well, as it helps my business, and I am also a small business. So I love this opportunity for collaboration. I'm so glad we've all met, and I'm excited to see where we go in the future. So if there's no other questions, I want to wish you guys all a great weekend. And happy almost June. So much love. I'll see you guys soon. All right. I think I stopped it. Did I stop
Did we
it?
leave?